I think mindset and mindfulness is kind of the backbone to everything that I do, because ultimately believing that you can do it is everything, right?
Welcome to the Mindfulness and Motion podcast, the show that helps you move beyond the checklist of life and into a world of joy and meaning and discovery. I'm your host, Corey Micah, and I'm so excited for our listeners to be here today. And in this episode, we've got Shannon Russell. She is a doctor of physical therapy and certified strength and conditioning specialist. And she's all about how mindful movement can move you through pain and reduce stress, simply feel more confident in your body. So we are going to talk about how mindfulness and motion works with your physical conditioning and exercise. So welcome, Shannon. Thanks for being here this morning. This morning. It's not even morning for either one of us as we're recording this.
Long day, but thank you so much for having me on, Corey. I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me about how you integrate mindfulness to the work that you do in the physical sphere with physical therapy and exercise.
Absolutely. So I think mindset and mindfulness is kind of the backbone to everything that I do. And so I work very holistically. I work with fitness and nutrition, and a lot of my clients often have pain points that come along with that too. And so we kind of address like the entire lifestyle. And with that entire lifestyle comes addressing the mindset and mentality with that. Because ultimately, one of the big things is I like to say, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. And I find that, just building confidence and having that mindset is absolutely everything to, whether it is a nutrition goal or, whether somebody has like chronic pain or they're just trying to, move better in the gym, believing that they can do it. And also, working on that mentality aspect is kind of the backbone to reaching those goals and having success.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. Dive into that more. Tell me more what that means to you.
Yeah, so the brain is everything, right? Like if you keep telling yourself every single day that you can't do something, what are the odds that you're going to be able to do it, right? Like, are you going to, whatever goal it may be, whether it's a physical goal in the gym or whether it's like a life goal, a business goal, a personal goal, if you wake up every single day and you're like, you know what, I can't go to the gym today, like I can't do this, or, if you're waking up every day and you're looking for that back pain and you're like, oh, yep, there it is. Yep, that's never going to get better. If you're looking for that, it's never going to get better, right? Or you're never going to take the steps. You're never going to take that action. But if you fully believe in yourself and you think like, all right, I can get better. I can get rid of this back pain, or I have this weight loss goal. If I take these steps and I follow my nutrition plan and I, follow my plan in the gym, like I know that I can reach this goal down the line. If you wake up every single morning and you believe that about yourself, you're going to take the action. You're going to take the steps and that you're going to be successful. So, if you keep telling yourself that you can't do something, you're probably not going to take the steps needed to do it. And your mind wants to be right? You're probably not going to succeed. But on that other side, if you keep telling yourself that you can do it and you fully believe in yourself, you're going to take that action, you're going to take those steps, and you're going to prove yourself right that you can succeed.
So this makes me think of one of the things when we're working with clients in the water, teaching adults how to swim, that pretty early on, we're opening the conversation for them to go from I'm not a swimmer to I'm a swimmer.
Yes.
We talk about, what it means to swim. And I relate it to when you're teaching a child to read and they just use, like, they have the first words on the page. You don't say, well, because you can't read Shakespeare, you're not a reader yet. You're like, yeah, you can read. Look, you can read. Doesn't mean you can do all the things. But yeah, that, like you say, getting up in the morning, if your first sentence is, I can't, then you're going to lean into that versus, oh yeah, I am a swimmer, and then that might just look like I'm a person that goes to the pool and puts my feet in the water. And that's fine. Because yeah, if you don't put your feet in the water, you're not going to learn to swim.
Absolutely. And you have to build that identity, right? If you want to become a swimmer, if you want to, become whatever it is you want to become, you have to own that identity and you have to believe that you can do it. Otherwise, if you don't ever believe that, oh, I'm never going to be able to swim. No one's ever been able to teach me before. Oh, I've never been able to lose the weight before. Yeah, you're not going to do it, right? You need to have that identity of what you want to become and, take those steps and already imagine yourself as that person.
Sure. So if you're helping people with their fitness or their weight loss, and they've had so many years of it not working out, right? They've got lots and lots of proof that
Yes,
it hasn't seemed to work out. So if you go from, yeah, I'm not a fit person, or I'm never going to lose the weight, or whatever the thing is that they've been saying a long time, and we can't make this shift, it's too far of a shift to go, I know I will lose the weight, or I know this back pain will go away. That can be too big of a jump.
Right.
I'm
Absolutely.
curious, do you have, I like to call them bridge thoughts or bridging steps. What are some common bridges or thoughts that you help people use to be able to kind of change the tide?
Right. I like that a lot. So, a few different things. So, one, I think breaking things up into smaller, more tangible, realistic goals can be super helpful. And I'm sure you find the same with your clients too. If they're brand new to swimming, you're probably not going to be like, yeah, you'll be able to do a triathlon next week, right? Like that feels so far away, right? Like if I have a client who, they have low back pain to the point where they can't even sit down and that's led them to, gain 20 pounds, that person that they used to be feels so far away. But how can we, get to somewhere in the middle? Like, let's set a small goal. Like, okay, right now, we're not even in the gym. All right, well, let's get you in the gym and let's find some exercises that feel really good to you that you can do. Take control of that. And that's going to be a huge step forward, right? And that is going to be able to accomplish that smaller goal. You're going to feel really good about yourself. You're going to feel really confident. And then you're going to be able to see that next step from there, right? And then that, end goal that felt so far away, suddenly it doesn't seem so far away anymore, right? So, kind of breaking it up into those smaller pieces and also sometimes shifting your mindset to something different too, focusing on the what you can do, not what you can't do yet. Again, back to the swimming with your clients and let's say somebody wants to swim do a triathlon. That's a lot of swimming involved in that, right? Let's focus on, okay, you swam your first laps today, right? And that's huge. Don't focus on, oh, we have to do this open water mile swim. We're not there yet, but you did more today than you did yesterday. So same thing with my clients too. Hey, you were able to, do a squat in the gym today when yesterday, that was painful. So, kind of shifting that mindset also to what you can do and away from the what we still have to accomplish.
Absolutely. Yeah. It'll come to me after we're done with this podcast, but I know there's a book I have read on goal setting, and it says, yeah, we need to spend more time looking back at where we've come from because that is the fuel we need to go where we want to go. When we look and see, because that's what you already know. You know how to do that, and you want to build up the things that you do know how to do. You set the goal to give yourself a direction, but you don't want to measure yourself really against that goal. You want to measure yourself the other way of all this stuff, this confidence building piece of us.
Yes, 100%. And, I think it's a fine balance, right? Between, of course, we want to look ahead. We want to look at these future goals and, we don't want to always be looking in the past, but also you need to recognize how far you've come, right? Because sometimes, like you said, that goal feels so distant and so far away, but look how far you've come. Look how much closer you are to that goal today than you were, a month ago, a year ago, et cetera.
Yeah, I think about your client that's coming to you with back pain, them being able to see, I have this back pain and I came to see you. Right? I'm a person who gets into action around this. I'm not sitting at home anymore, wallowing in it. I'm actually doing something.
100% back to that identity piece, right? I am someone who takes action. I am someone who can do this. That is just the foundation to everything, I think, anything that you want to accomplish.
The other thing I noted when you said about your example of the person with the back pain coming into the gym and finding some things that feel good to them. Now, my brain wanted to say, what? No, nothing feels good in the gym.
You got to change that mindset.
I know, but that was the first thing that popped up in my head. What
Funny.
feels good to me in the gym is when I leave the gym and I'm like, yes, I did it. I got it done. I can feel really good about myself. But that's not entirely true. There are things that really feel good to me in the gym. But I love that you used that word of like what feels good to you.
hmm
How is that for people to tap into that? Is that difficult for people to tap into it? I know a lot of us are very disconnected, disassociated from our bodies in terms of maybe we don't even know what feels good or feels bad, or is this something that you see
Yeah,
with folks?
that's a really great question. And something really great that you pointed out too is we are so disconnected from our bodies oftentimes, right? Like we live in this very high stress world, right? Where a lot of the times we do just kind of disconnect. We find ourselves just kind of going through the motions, whether that be just going through the motions at work in our lives or in movement too, like whether that's, at the gym or whatever it is that you're doing. Sometimes we just need to take that time and really slow down and recognize what's going on in your body, what's going on physically, when you're doing a specific movement, like what muscles are you feeling? What feels good? Maybe what doesn't feel good? How can you shift different things in your body to, isolate a different body part? And then, taking that into the brain too. Like you should be actively thinking about what you're doing as well, right? Like, what am I feeling? Again, how can I make this feel different? I'm not sure if you've ever practiced yoga, but that's something that I've gotten into recently. And what I really like about it is it kind of slows movement down to all of those pieces where it forces you to like, all right, let me really connect to what my body is doing right now in this present moment. Kind of brings you back to yourself rather than like, just kind of moving on autopilot.
Yeah, I like you're illustrating about feeling like what the muscle is doing. And then I think this mindfulness piece in here is to feel what the muscle is doing for the purpose of helping you drop into your body
Yes.
versus that judgment evaluative part of the brain. So as you said that, it just made me think, I did my weightlifting yesterday and of a certain age, so I'm very good about that bone
Good.
health weightlifting.
Yes. So proud of you.
Yes. But it does help me to get out of like, I don't really like this or whatever, to visualize and actually feel into my spine, really, all those little muscles. I visualize them and feel how they're pulling on the bones in my spine because I'm working on bone health. I want to have good bone
Right.
health. And that helps me get out of am I doing it right? Or how do I look? Or the parts that are uncomfortable, not in a dangerous way, right? I don't want to disconnect from those pieces, but to really tap into, feel that good hard work of those
Yes.
bones getting stressed in a way that's healthy for them.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, one, I love that I'm not the only one who thinks that way. I do the same thing. And you know what? I do tell my clients the same thing too when they're working out, especially if we are working on overcoming an injury or if an exercise feels uncomfortable. They need to lean into, what exactly are you feeling? Here's what you should feel with this. Now, what are you feeling right now? And now, knowing what you should be feeling, what muscles you should be feeling working, what little shifts in your body can you change to feel that? Can you change the pressure in your foot? Can you change, where your weight is shifted? Can you change how you're holding a weight? Just these little shifts in our body can really make all the difference between, feeling one muscle work versus feeling a different muscle work. And ultimately, for people who do have pain or issues going on, that can be the game changer in getting out of that too.
That's great. One of our key things, and I see this over and over again with this idea of mindfulness of motion, is about curiosity.
Mhm.
And when you talked earlier about how we live in this high stress, and my hands are coming up to my head, this very cerebral society, we're up here and not down in our bodies. And allowing space. I love this. Sounds like you're allowing space for your clients to be curious in their bodies
Absolutely.
versus a binary of right and wrong and perfectionism but to discover in your body, yeah, how could you, maybe you can feel that muscle or maybe not. Let's get curious. Then you start to be able to feel it and recognize it.
Exactly, because everybody's different, right? Whatever movement that you are performing, like we're all built a little bit differently. Our anatomy is different. We have different experiences that, fuel that as well. So it is like such an important part of movement to be really in tune with that and, get your brain on the same page as your body. And okay, where is my body in space right now? What exactly am I feeling? How does this make me feel? Yeah, because movement is so individual, right? Everybody's going to
Mm.
feel things a little bit differently. Everybody's going to move a little bit differently. No two people are alike in that way.
What? I thought we are all supposed to be like one Barbie
Right?
doll figure way of it's all
Exactly.
supposed to be the
Well,
same.
social media, I thought we were all supposed to look the same.
No, I love that permission. I think, yeah, for people listening to just really know whoever you are, however your body is, it's exactly right. It's great. And you can cultivate goals that you want to have change it, not because there's something wrong with you, but because you want to feel a different way, because you want to, like me, build strong bones, or like your clients want to work with that back and help get some relief from whatever's going on in your back. I love it.
Absolutely.
I'm just sort of curious and thinking about your people. I want to say, what's your favorite person to work with or type of person to work with? And I don't know, that might not be a fair question, but who do you enjoy working with? And I'd just be curious, why that person stands out to you.
Yeah, that's a great question. Most of my clients are very active people. And so they are the ones who are very in tune with their bodies, which makes it very fun too, because, automatically they are giving that feedback, right? Where I feel this when I do this, and they're like already very curious about their bodies. So usually, I work with a lot of women specifically in their 40s and 50s, and most of them have been very active for most of their life, and they want to continue to stay active into their 50s, their 60s. They're very active in the gym, or maybe it's tennis, golf, pickleball. So they're all kind of naturally very curious, back to what you were saying about movement and their bodies, and very in tune to it. But a lot of the times, being women in their 40s and 50s, they're also kind of losing that a little bit because of those outside life influences, that we talked about, where like now all these stressors are coming in, or maybe we have these aches and pains popping up because we've been, maybe playing a little too much tennis and not recovering enough, right? So, a big thing that I do with my clients is they are very body aware people, but sometimes they need to be brought back to that, get
Mm.
rid of outside stresses, say, hey, you can take an hour in the gym. You don't have to rush through it. You can reconnect with your body, and you're going to see really great results. You're going to feel a lot better, and we're going to solve, any of these aches and pains and issues, by getting you to reconnect with yourself.
Oh, I love that you brought that profile person forward, because since I work mostly in the sphere of beginners, right? That's who I was envisioning. But there is a sphere for people who are, let's say, not beginners in movement or in a specific area, but having somebody to help them slow down into it, because our world is so full of achieving and pushing and moving forward. And sometimes then we miss adding that mindfulness to it, and we miss messages from our body. And this is how you can get injured. Or I think I'm in that age demographic that you're mentioning. I know very well in terms of how, gosh, the same work you did today does not produce the same results as it did 10 years ago.
Right, absolutely.
Watching my kids go through puberty thinking all they do is sleep and they get stronger, and I weightlift and I stay the same.
Right.
So yeah, having to have some gracious space around the natural changes of the human body, not in a way
Yeah,
of being up about
absolutely.
it, but just, yeah, how do I lovingly treat this body now?
Yes, 100%. Because, like you said, you have to work a little bit differently when you're, in your 30s, 40s, 50s, because we're not in our 20s anymore, or your teens, where you can just do whatever and anything kind of works, right? You have to be a little bit more mindful about everything that you're doing. And on that note, too, a lot of the women that I work with are very high achieving and, very of that perfectionist mindset, where again, they kind of need to be brought back to, hey, it's okay to take a step back. Like you need to recover as well. And, you need to get out of that like fight or flight, that super stressed out mode. And again, like, even just going for a walk and, getting back, getting grounded, going for a walk without your phone, without thinking about your stress and how does your body feel just in this moment. So sometimes it's about like taking that step back as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that's kind of the whole point of this podcast too, is to help people, whatever their area is that they want to be in motion, is to make sure that you're slowing down and allowing that mindfulness piece in it and to see, well, why am I really doing this? Am I doing this to continue the stress of life, or am I doing this because I want to feel good and have a certain pleasure and enjoyment? And the more we can do it in small areas, the more it seeps over into other areas of your life. Might be hard to do it in the boardroom to start with, but 1 hour in the gym with Shannon, that might be the place to start.
Yes. And I really liked what you said too about just kind of slowing down with everything too, because I think that's something that we really need in our lives too, is, again, like we're going, we're like very stressed out. And sometimes you just need that permission to like, it's okay, like just reconnect and get back into it. And that's what kind of sets you up for success in the long term, is like bite-sized pieces.
Nice. Well, if you had one thought for people to hold in their head to help them either go into their fitness or take care of their bodies, take care of that back pain, whatever it is, what would be an identity thought you would hope for people to hold on to help them change?
Yeah, I think the biggest identity thought is consistency will beat perfection every time. I think a lot of people, when, they're trying to start something new or get back to what they used to do, whatever it may be, I think a limiting factor for a lot of people is thinking that they have to be really perfect with it. So whether that be a fitness routine or whether that, your clients, they're, getting into swimming, like they feel like they need to perform everything perfectly, do it every single day. And that's just not the case. I think that's a good way to burn out. Little steps and just being consistent is going to get you so much further than being perfect. So it doesn't have to be an hour-long crazy workout. Going for a 10-minute walk is going to be better than sitting on your couch, right? So those little steps add up and can make a huge difference and can get you to that new identity way faster than, being perfect with it ever will.
Yeah. Small, consistent steps over time. Yeah. 1% of change over time beats forcing a 180-degree turn that is overwhelming.
Exactly. 100%. And it sets you up like your mindset better for success too, because if you can just do, 1% every single day or every other day, you're going to feel really good about yourself when you do that, versus if you are trying to, do 50% every single day. And then when that doesn't happen, you're going to feel, not so great about yourself. You're going to feel like a failure. And that's when a lot of people quit too, right? So, back to the mindset thing, like taking it into those bite-sized pieces and starting small, like you're going to feel it's going to accumulate and you're going to feel a lot more accomplished and more confident in yourself too.
Especially if you actually mentally reward yourself when you did go for the 10-minute walk.
Yes, absolutely.
Enjoy the 10-minute walk and let yourself know, look, here I did it. Yay me.
Yeah.
So
kind of back to what we talked about at the start, right? With, who you were, yesterday, right? And comparing to that, well, maybe the you of yesterday was sitting on the couch and the you today went for that 10-minute walk, and being proud of that, making that change.
Nice, nice. Well, Shannon, thank you so much for this conversation today. It was really fun. If people want to get in touch with you, and do you just work with people? So you're in Florida. Do you just work with people in person in Florida, or do you work with people online?
I exclusively work with people online, actually.
Okay. So how do people get a hold of you if they want to help that back?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at Dr. Shannon Russell, and my website is drshannonrussell.com.
All right, very good. And of course, that'll be in the show notes as well. Thank you, Dr. Shannon, for being here with us today. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Corey. This was so fun.
Good.
You too. Bye, Corey.